The most recent All-Star games, 1981 and the 1983 Classic, as well as the more humorous side of the sport with Mr. Baseball himself, Bob Uecker. First up, the 1981 Midsummer Classic.
As the watch the baseball that will begin the 1981 All-Star Game. Anticipation is the watchword for tonight's celebration of the national pastime. As game time approaches in Cleveland's Municipal Stadium, the excitement mounts, and players and fans alike are thrilled that Major League Baseball is back. The pregame ceremonies are equal to the glamour of the event. The celebrated ball is safely delivered, the world's largest American flag is unfurled, and the biggest crowd in All-Star history looks on. Cameras click, and both teams are ready for the midsummer spectacle. So are entertainer Bob Hope and Vice President George Bush. Dallas Green's National Leaguers have the confidence of a team that has won 9 in a row. But like Green, 14 of his players will be making their All-Star debut. The American Leaguers have lost 17 of their last 18, and it's been suggested that the team is jinxed or hexed. But there's no time for speculation. The game is about to begin. A record crowd of more than 72,000 is on hand to greet the Stars. Like Hall of Famer Warren Spahn, the National League's honorary captain. The biggest cheers are for Cleveland Stars, like another Hall of Famer, Bob Feller, captain of Jim Fry's American League. And there's more cheers reserved for Vice President Bush, ready to throw out the first ball, an all-star tradition. Tonight's catcher is 13-year-old Derek Williams, chosen at random as a representative fan. The Vice President, a former Yale first baseman, lets fly, and Municipal Stadium's fourth dream game becomes real. Leading off is Philadelphia's 40-year-old Pete Rose, an all-star for the 15th time, and one of baseball's greats of all time, a ball player extraordinaire. 18 years in the majors for a man who always goes all out. Rose began with Cincinnati in 1963 and was Rookie of the Year. Batting titles followed in 68, 69, and 73. And defensively, the versatile Rose had the highest lifetime fielding percentage of any outfielder ever. But history may remember Rose best for his hustle at home to win the 1970 All-Star Game. Now, another All-Star Game, 1981.
First baseman, Pete Rose.
For Rose, a record 5th starting position in All-Star play. Detroit's Jack Morris is on the mound, and 58 days after the last big league swing of the bat, Pete Rose swings true. A leadoff hit for the man whose previous hit during the regular season tied Stan Musial's all-time National League record. But in the top of the first, Rose was stranded. In the bottom of the first, 20-year-old rookie Fernando Valenzuela of the Los Angeles Dodgers starts for the National League. Leading off is the California Angels' Rod Carew, who, like Pete Rose, plays first base. And he's been here before, too. Rod Carew in 1967 was the American League's Rookie of the Year with the Minnesota Twins. He made the All-Star team that season, and every year since, running up a total of 15 in a row. A multi-talented performer, Carew is always a threat on the bases. His 7 batting crowns are surpassed by only Ty Cobb and Hannes Wagner, and his .332 lifetime average is the highest among all active players. Rod Carew is a fan favorite with a record 27 million All-Star votes since the balloting began in 1970.
Leading off, first baseman Rod Carew.
Quite an ovation for the American League first baseman, batting first. Rod Carew's 6th base hit in his last 8 All-Star at-bats. Quite a percentage. But the law of averages catches up on the bases, and at the end of 1 full inning, it's the National League nothing, the American League nothing.
The goal. Michelob and Michelob.
Something speaks for themselves.
Michelob. One smooth and mellow taste tells you all you need to know. Michelob. Some things speak for themselves.
Somebody's flying your way. You know it's Ozark. We're up there flying your way, the way you wanna fly. Across the USA, every day, Ozark flies your way. Ozark flies your way. Ozark.
Serving over 60 cities coast to coast, border to border.
With the game still scoreless in the bottom of the 2nd inning, another distinguished All-Star makes an appearance. Cincinnati's Tom Seaver, who earlier in the season recorded his 3,000th strikeout, is now ready for his 8th All-Star game, which ties a record for pitchers. And his first challenge is against Baltimore slugging switch hitter Ken Singleton, a power hitter against a power pitcher, a classic duel. And Seaver gets 2 quick strikes. Oh, Kenny, rip it down! The count is 0-2. The American League strikes first, and it's a 1-0 ball game. Singleton's home run is the 113th in All-Star history, and the jubilant Cleveland crowd seems to sense that this might be the American League's year. In each of the 3 previous years, the American League couldn't hold an early lead, but tonight could be different. 3rd inning, and standing tall on the mound, Cleveland's very own Len Barker, the overwhelming fan favorite. Enthusiastic hometown support of Len Barker is matched by his impeccable performance over the next 2 innings. Barker faces only 6 batters, and his performance is perfect, reminiscent of his perfect game 3 months earlier on the same field. The highlight of Barker's performance was his duel with slugger Dave Parker in the 3rd. 1 bad pitch could have tied it. 0-1. Now it's no balls and 2 strikes. After wasting a pitch, it's 1-2, still a pitcher's count. But Barker just missed it. The 4th straight pitch at or below the knee. And the challenge. The American League strikeout leader has done it, and done it in style. And his team still hangs on to its one-run advantage. Top of the fifth inning, still 1-0, and California's Ken Forsch is the new pitcher. Batting for the National League is Montreal Expo catcher Gary Carter. Carter is facing one of the game's best control pitchers, but on this particular pitch, it's Carter in control. The score is tied 1-1, and National League fans get their chance to cheer. In the dugout, Carter's teammates offer their own spirited congratulations. It stays tied in the bottom of the fifth, and then in the sixth inning, Mike Norris comes on for the American League. Dave Parker bats for the first time since the Len Barker strikeout, and the Cobra is coiled. In a game of inches, Parker's roller hits the edge of the grass, and Buddy Bell's gold glove is rendered helpless. Double jeopardy. For Dave Parker, opportunity knocks twice, and this time he answers the call with a vicious drive. Long distance. Parker's home run is especially memorable since coming on the heels of such a strange foul ball. The American League appears snake-bit as the National League now leads 2-1. The Dodgers' Bert Hooton, who retired 3 in a row in the fifth, is now the pitcher of record, and he faces Ken Singleton. For the fourth time in 6 innings, the American League leads off with a hit or a walk. Red Sox slugger Dwight Evans, having his best season, is next, and Hooton must now work from the stretch for the first time. Evans' base hit puts the potential tying run in scoring position, and there's nobody out.
Catcher Carlton Fisk.
Chicago's Carlton Fisk is hitless in 2 tries and has only 1 hit and 13 all-star at-bats. But this time he loops one to load him up. Trailing by only 1 run and nobody out, the American League is urged on by this huge Cleveland crowd to break the spell. California's Fred Lynn is sent up to hit, and the stage is set. Second baseman Manny Trillo saves a run, but it's the American League's 4th hit in a row, and the game is tied 2-2. Texas Ranger Buddy Bell is next, and the former Indian is well remembered by the Cleveland fans. No outs. The bases are loaded, and it's a critical moment. The American League for 9 years has hoped for the big inning that could break up the ball game, and now is that chance. With the count full, Bell hits what appears to be a certain double play grounder, but a second look reveals that the ball bounced off Buddy's foot, making it a foul ball. Just like with Parker in the top of the inning, the matter of an inch or two makes all the difference. Only this time, the American League has gotten the break. Bases loaded, no outs, full count, 2-2 ball game, and Buddy Bell has another chance.
Get out of here!
A sacrifice fly, and the American League regains the lead, 3-2.
Way to go, buddy! Batting seventh, catcher Gary Carter.
Gary Carter, who homered on the first pitch of the fifth inning, now eagerly awaits the first pitch of the seventh. Strikeout artist Ron Davis of the Yankees gets the call. Dave Winfield gets to the wall, but not the ball. And all of a sudden, the National League trails by only one. In his last two at-bats, Carter has seen two pitches, and both times he really liked what he saw. The Expo catcher becomes only the fifth player in All-Star history to homer twice in the same game. And coming only one pitch after Baker's diving catch, Carter's homer also demonstrates the game of inches. The ball was just beyond the reach of Dave Winfield's valiant try, but had it fallen 1 inch shy, it would have stayed in play. But now it's a one-run game. In the eighth, Milwaukee's Raleigh Fingers comes in to do what he does best. At age 34, number 34 has saved more games than anyone in baseball history. But in this game, Raleigh lets his fingers do the walking. And with one away, Pittsburgh's Mike Easler becomes the tying run. Jim Fry is only 5 outs away from victory. But up steps the premier home run hitter in the major leagues, Mike Schmidt. Going, and it is gone. And so is the American League lead. The National League is on top 5-4. For the fourth inning in a row, the senior circuit has hit for the circuit, an all-star record. Schmidt's blast traveled more than 400 feet, and the National League's leading vote getter on this year's ballot is accepted at home by his very own national convention.
Nice God. Nice God.
Give me a light. A Bud Light.
If you just ask for a light beer, you never know what you'll get.
And I'll have a light. A Bud Light.
So if you want the less filling light beer with the first name and taste, don't just ask for a light beer.
Give me a light.
Ask them to bring out their best.
Bud Light.
Bud Light. Because everything else is just a light.
It's the bottom of the ninth inning, and the National League's 5-4 comeback lead is entrusted to the St. Louis Cardinals' Bruce Sutter. Sutter won the 78 and 79 All-Star games and then settled for save in 1980. Now a chance for another save, as Sutter, who works from the stretch regardless, looks in at leadoff man Frank White of the Royals. Guarding the line is Pittsburgh's Bill Madlock, who turns a third base grounder into a first base out. One away. Pitcher Dave Steve of Toronto must now bat for himself, as the American League has used all its pinch hitters. Steve, who has batted only once in the major leagues, gets his second chance here and becomes out number 2.
Center fielder Dave Winfield.
This is it. A whole game full of opportunities has diminished into one final chance, and Dave Winfield is the last hope. full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The bottom of the ninth, and the American League's down by 1. The ball game is over. And for the 10th straight year, the National League has won, this time 5-4. Most of tonight's record crowd is disappointed with the outcome, and after a look at the American League's recent All-Star history and a few of the strange bounces in this game, you can't help but wonder. But winner or loser, jinxes or not, the fans agree that the game was hard-fought and exciting, and it's good to have Major League Baseball once again.
We hope you enjoyed the look back at the 81 All-Star Game. We'll come back with a visit with Mr. Baseball, Bob Uecker.
You're watching Sports Time, Mid-America's Sports Network. Sports Time has a weekend to watch starting Friday night. Watch AAA Live as Indianapolis takes on the Redbirds live from Louisville. Saturday afternoon is a Sports Time exclusive with special coverage as the world's fastest boats race for the coveted Indiana Governor's Cup. From Madison, Indiana, the hydroplanes are racing. Then Saturday night, Sports Time heads north as Pete Rose and the Expos host the Cincinnati Reds and Dave Parker. Then Sports Time is back in Montreal Sunday afternoon as the Reds wrap up their series against the Expos.